Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. It's been a while since, sorry, I'm ashamed of myself too. Anyway, hello. It is me back again. I haven't made a video in like a year and a half, but you know, I felt like new campaign. It's time. We'll get into that later. I'm gonna make another video about it. It's fine. Today we're gonna be talking about Campaign 4, which is crazy, and the little emoji teasers that Critical Role put out in order to tell us a little bit more about the player characters. So I pulled out the trusty Hello Kitty notebook, and I have my thoughts scribbled down, and I'm just going to share some of my predictions on who's playing who, what each of the things actually mean, because some of them are kind of vague, I would say. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try this. So for campaign 4, I was very excited to figure out what they were gonna do next. I mean, at the end of campaign 3, they hit a precipice in which they could go a lot of different directions. I found it very interesting that they chose to do a new world, especially one that is all around the death of the gods. They went around the idea of like, how can we do what Exandria did, but like make a different choice when it came to that, and how the gods were part of the world. So it's going to be very interesting, and that leads me to the first character. So I'm going to try and pop up the emojis. So we have the lion, the shield, and the sun emojis. And the person that I think will be playing this character is Travis. I think he's played kind of a silly character for a lot longer than he thought he would, especially towards that latter half of campaign 3. So I'm predicting he's going to play a Leonin, hence the lion, and he's going to be either a light cleric or some kind of paladin that was devoted to a sun god who is now gone. I think that could bring a lot of depth for Travis, especially playing something so silly. And he's got some acting chops, so I'd love to see him take on a more dramatic, serious kind of character. And he always kind of leans into the martial character who has like a little bit of magic, especially with Ford and Chetney. So I could definitely see him doing something more paladin or cleric based. So that is my guess. My other guess who this might be could be Liam, because I think it's pretty much confirmed Liam's going to be a cleric this campaign. So I think that could be a possibility that he's this character. However, I do have him pegged for a different one, and I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments. The next one we have is the book, sparkle, and candle emojis. This could be a lot of different people. I think for me, initially this screamed wizard, but I also didn't want to be like, oh, book automatically means wizard, but I think it screams wizard. I think this is going to be a Bria, and I think she's going to play an orc divination wizard. The reason I chose orc is because Brennan said that he wanted a lot of orc representation in this new world, and so I think it would only be fitting for one of the player characters to be an orc. None of the emojis really screamed orc to me when I was going through the list, and also, I mean, these 3 emojis are kind of just like, it just screams wizard, and that's like it doesn't tell me a lot about like race potentially. So I am going to go with orc. And then also, I feel like Abria leans more heavily towards magic users, and I think it would be really cool to see her take on being a divination wizard and how she would play a wizard in a world where there are no gods. So the next one is the heart, devil, and booze emojis. And I chose Ashley for this one. I think she's going to play a tiefling glamour bard. That is my guess. Ashley likes to play characters who are hot. I honestly think she also likes playing characters that have a bit of magic. I was kind of curious as to whether she would go martial, because she did play barbarian for campaign 2, but I just feel like she has a lot more fun experimenting with spells as Pike and Fern. So I chose glamour bard because it's it's something I think she could be really good at, especially after watching the podcast with her and Taliesin, Weird Kids. It's like they have a lot of that drama theater kid angst within them, and I would love to see her kind of bring that out into a character. The next one is Wolf, the magnifying glass, and the bow and arrow emojis. So this could go a couple ways. I chose this for Laura. I think she's kind of gone very heavy magic in the past 2 campaigns, so I kind of want to see her take on something more grounded, and I think she's going to be a lycanthrope gloomstalker rogue. I think this is going to be her chance to finally play a full rogue. She wanted to do it when she was playing Vex. She dipped into rogue for campaign 1, but again, they were trying to have some variation at the table, so she went with Ranger when they were picking characters, and Liam went with Rogue. I think this could be a really fun chance for her to finally play that Rogue character. I also, the wolf emoji is very interesting. I don't know whether it could very well be that she's going to be something different, and this might be a different person who is going to be a ranger with a wolf familiar. I think that is very possible as well, but I just wanted to kind of mix it up, kind of throw a wild card in there. I think maybe Travis's love of werewolves can kind of rub off on her. This is the one I'm like least set about, because Laura I feel like could be anything. I kind of wanted to put her in at a wild card kind of vibe. Now the other person I think this could be is Robbie, but I have Robbie as the next one, which is dagger, gem, and flame emojis, and I think that is just going to be a fire genasi thief rogue. Dorian was very self-deprecating, and I really kind of want him to be a charismatic, sneaky kind of guy, so that's why I put him here, but I could see them kind of flip-flopping. I really want to see Laura as a rogue. I think she would play it really well. And also Fire Genasi are really cool, so I could really see it being either of them. But the more I think about it, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to make Robbie be the lycanthrope and have Laura be the thief. I don't know. It's so hard. They could go anyway. Next up, we have Beard, female emoji, crystal ball emoji, and the Joker card. And I think this is Liam. That's my hope. I think. I mean, I love seeing Liam play these very deep, well thought out, very layered characters, and I think he could bring a lot of justice to this character. So I think he's going to be a female dwarf who is of the trickery cleric domain. I want to see him in this character. I want to see him do something different than what he did with Orym. Orym was very much the straight man, and he was the moral compass of Bell's Hells. And I really want to see him dive into the trickery domain and play a character who is a little whimsical, is a little devious, and is just an all-around good time. And I think he could do it really well. And it's also just a flavor we haven't gotten from Liam much. He's definitely had his silly moments, but most of his player characters are very deep and dark and have kind of sad backstories, so it would be very cool to see a different take for Liam. The next set of emojis is the fox, black heart, and coffin emojis, and while I don't think there's a fox person per se, I think there might be in Humblewood, which is like a affiliated D&D module. I'm just gonna guess fox person and hope that's a thing. Or I could also see it being a familiar as well, which could be really cool, but my guess is a fox person grave cleric, and that will be Alex Ward. I think he's the one I'm the most unfamiliar with when it comes to the new cast members. Just based on vibe alone, I think he likes spooky stuff, and my air turned on, I'm so sorry. But anyway, I think he likes spooky stuff. I think it's always going to be good to have a cleric, and I think a grave cleric is going to be really cool, especially for a campaign where Brennan has threatened to kill most of them. Next, we have the fairy needle thread emoji and the wilting flower, and I think this is going to be Sam. I think he is going to be a fairy who is a warlock with a archfey pact. I think that is something that could be really cool for Sam to do. I think it brings some darkness, but I also think it allows some silliness for him. Also, he has to play a schmall. He always starts his campaigns schmall, and fairy is the only like kind of small one I can see, besides maybe if he goes dwarf. But I think this could be really cool for Sam. The next one is Comet, I think. Crossing swords emoji and the compass, and I think this is going to be Taliesin. When I was going through and trying to figure things out, I was like, this one was the most of a question mark for me, and it could really be anything. Right now, I do think he's going to play some kind of homebrewed character. I think it would be really cool if he played a homebrewed ranger, because he's got the little compass in there. However, the swords definitely make me think not ranger. So I'm going with either an Air Genasi or an astral elf, and he's a swashbuckler. That's just like, that's a guess, but who knows with Taliesin? I honestly don't know. And again, this could be anything. Literally this, I could have none of these right, but that is what I'm going with for the sake of the video. Next we have female elf, female emoji, the chain, and then the little pot. And I can't take credit for this. I saw this one on Reddit and was like, okay, that's a yes. So first, I think this is Whitney Moore, who I don't have a lot of familiarity with. I know she was from, she did some work with SourceFed back in the day, if you remember that YouTube channel that Philip DeFranco started. I just know that she has a reputation for being a chaos goblin, but I think she's going to play a female elf or half elf who is Pact of the Chain, and her pact is with Jinn. I think that spreads it out perfectly. So I can't remember who said it. I'm so sorry, but it was on Reddit. I can't take credit for it, but when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's a thing. Next is the deer, the heart, and the leaf emoji, or falling leaf emoji, and I think this is going to be Luis Carrazzo. I think Luis loves playing these very like stoic, well-rounded and manly characters, like very fatherly figure characters. That's why we call him Papa or Daddy. So I'm gonna put him as a satyr, because we kind of did a fawn already. I like to do something a little different, so I put satyr, and I think he's going to be a Circle of the Shepherd druid, which I think could be really cool. And it could be also kind of fun to see him take a leadership role, especially since I think Xerxes was such a leadership focused character in ways, and I think Luis has a presence very similar to Travis, in which he feels like he could be, like, if this was Power Rangers, he'd be the Red Ranger. Next is the temple, the pot, and the like instrument emoji, and I think this is Marisha. I think she's going to play a lore bard. I think she did it once during a one shot for the Darrington Brigade, and she did really well as a bard, and I want to see her do it again. And I think she's going to be an Aasimar, because I just feel like the temple just gives me very like fallen angel vibes. It could be cool to see her play with the no gods aspect, especially since all three of her characters have been kind of anti-god, and it would be kind of cool to see her play with that in a character in a long-term campaign. And last but not least, we of course have Matt Mercer, who I think is going to be this set of emojis. It's the two masks, the scroll, and the little key thing. I think he could do two things here. He loves bards and he loves dwarves. So I was like, okay, a dwarf College of Tragedy maybe because of the masks, bard. But I could also see him do something really interesting and do like a homebrewed or a multi-class warlock bard kind of situation. I think that could be really cool, in which his like pact is to the music maybe. I mean, it's a key warlock, keys unlock. It's kind of a stretch, but I'm very excited to see what they end up doing. I think that this is going to be a really cool campaign. I think they've done nothing like it before. I think they kind of messed with the West Marches idea a little bit in campaign 3, in which they had kind of a revolving door of guest characters coming in, but it's going to be very interesting to see the table not with the same players that we always see. So I'm really excited to delve into this new campaign. Also, I saw the theory that since there's 13 players, that everyone would be one of each class. I think they're gonna do like whatever they want. I think that they like having creative freedom, and if they're kind of boxed into you have to play a rogue and you have to play a warlock, it's gonna be a little bit more stifling creatively. So I don't think that's happening. But yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I know it's been a while, and if you want to see more like little campaign 4 prediction videos, or I don't know if I'm recapping campaign 4, I think that is a lot. However, if you do want to see more Critical Role content and campaign 4 content, please let me know in the comments below. I missed you guys. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the Bertrand bell, and but damn, my friends.